Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now.
I think we're set. Hi, I'm David Burcham, and I'm with Visible Technologies, and we are a social media focused company focused on building enterprise systems to help large brands focus in on what consumers and businesses are saying about them, categorize that information, bring it back. We also have a reputation management component of our business, which is really the beginning of the company and where we started. So we were founded back in 2005, and we're headquartered in Bellevue now. We were in Pioneer Square startup until just recently. And our focus early on was we were an SEO company, and we were focused on reputation management by working with large brands, with individuals, high net worth individuals, and working with them to help manage their online reputation and understand what it was that people were saying about them and how to do something about it as content started to populate more aggressively. So we created a product which we call True Reputation. Has also a component called TrueView, which is designed to help to manage the positions on the top search engines. And then we have TrueCast, which is our social media product. So we have, we are today raising our Series C. We'll be raising about roughly $10 million. Our prior funding you can see here. We partnered, Ignition Partners is an investor in our company. WPP is also an investor in our company, as well as Centurion Holdings, Joe Grano in New York, who's the former chairman of UBS Payne Weber. We've been very successful, have had, very excited about the way the business has gone. We're in a market that has been very exciting, grown aggressively at the same time that we were able to come out with technologies which have been well recognized both through the industry and certainly through our success with our large customers, but also, as you can see, with a number of different awards that we've been able to participate in. So, I'm sure no surprise to anyone here just how aggressive social media has exploded over the last few years, and the amount of content which is out there. More content on YouTube today than there was on the web during the boom that we all remember from the 1990s. And that the amount of content that we're continuing to bring in as an organization is about 1 million conversations a day. So it's a very broad coverage, very aggressive understanding of what's being covered in that. We're a SaaS model. We're software as a service. So everything is accessed through a web interface. The content we gather, we use proprietary technology to go out across the web and bring back conversations which are happening very broadly. So we bring back a lot of content, not just what is focused on a particular brand or on a particular set of keywords, but we bring back a much broader content than that. Then we begin to categorize that aggressively into topics and help to understand the meaning behind that content, the sentiment behind that content. So we break down a conversation into its relative components around topics and the discussions which are happening, the authors who are influential within those discussions, and then we provide you not only with what does it mean, but what other topics were discussed within that, and what is the sentiment, not just the tone, so generally was it positive or negative, but on a particular topic, in a particular thread of conversation, we follow that entire thread all the way through from the original post to every comment throughout it, how it moves across different media, like into Twitter and other components, and then back and tell you how that your participation, which is ultimately what we set out to do, was to help brands engage in the conversation, how your participation really has affected or not affected that conversation. By participation, I mean both offline and online. We've built a great team, and as I said, it's shown in the success of the business. We've been very fortunate to have some of the best brands in the world participating, and certainly our WPP relationship and the other agency relationships that we've developed have contributed very aggressively to that. The market that we're in is continuing to grow, not only in terms of the level of conversation, the number of sites which are coming online, the people who are participating around the world, but also in investment. Investment continues to move into the space in both dollars spent in this space, as well as investments in companies which are working within this space. We've been fortunate in an economy where we've seen, all of us have seen the effects of what's happened on the global scale. We've been fortunate in that dollars continue to move online, budgets continue to shift from offline to online spending, and as that's happened, social media in particular has gotten an inappropriate or it's sort of unfair share of those dollars in some ways moving across, and we've been very fortunate to be able to participate in that, to help guide companies in how to participate in it effectively and to provide tools which allow them to engage in the conversations, understand what they mean, and market more effectively to the consumers and businesses which are having these discussions online. Separate them by channel, but also to aggregate the meaning across those channels. Companies like P&G, companies like AT&T, large companies are starting to give heavy consideration to what is it that's being said and what does it mean and how should it affect my product, how should it affect my brand, how should it affect my marketing messages, how should it inform my creative messaging. So when we started this product, it was very important to us that it was an engaging product, so it's built to have a very engaging interface. It has lots of BI, so the business intelligence tools are built in to allow you to slice and dice the data yourself, look at the sentiment trends over time, look at the conversational trends over time, move around within those, and to do it through the lens of your need at the time, whether you're a marketer, whether you're a PR person or corp comm person in a company, whether you work in investment relations or HR, what are the topics of interest to you? And we allow you to not only look at those topics of interest, but compare them across other topics and understand both how you fit in competitively, but also how maybe your topics of interest compare to other things being followed by a company. You can follow your brand and image, your corporate executives, how's your pricing strategy being received? What do people think of your commercials? What do people think of your executives? All of those are opportunities within the space. And what we allow people to do is move beyond the communities that they create or the communities which are being created within their organization to understand what are people saying where they form their own communities? What are they saying across the web when they create their own messaging, and how does that relate? How do you draw them into the communities that you have? We were, this was our first year in the Forrester Wave report, and we came in positioned, we think really well. We were very pleased with the sort of first year entry into the space. Both the BuzzMetrics, who's owned by Nielsen, and Symphony, who's owned by TNS, have been in the report multiple times, and so we were really excited about that. So with that, I'll open it up for questions. We're as I said, very happy to be in the space that we're in and to have had so much success with the companies that we're dealing with so far.
How do the companies that are signing up with you utilize the information that you provide them? Are they using it as purely inbound marketing metrics? Or are they using it on a per product basis? I mean, is it corporate-wide or a specific project?
It tends to be corporate-wide. The typical buyer for us is at the CMO level and tends to filter down from there into the brand managers or sometimes the service and technical support managers within an organization so that they can use it to handle specific issues within a company. So it's really very different use cases across a company.
And are you able to provide people who contract with you information about them relative to their competitors?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's really the key value then, because it's hard for them to do that themselves. Right?
Yeah, and we can make it very specific, and not in a very focused way with it, but without having to. We can do a lot of discovery within the data to tell them things about their competitors at a very low level. So not only just brand and image, but about the casing on their product, the color of their product, the way that it's perceived, and not necessarily the way that it's marketed.
So this is a question of scaling as your volume continues to increase. You mentioned in your summary that you use a combination of mathematical modeling and human analysis. Without revealing anything totally secret, what's that ratio, and do you feel good about that as the business scales?
I do. The ratio really varies depending on the complexity of the subject matter that we're going after at the time. What we're seeing is a trend toward more and more automation being able to handle that. So we built the system to use both algorithms and linguistic systems that are trainable. So we create exemplars early on around topics and around subject matter for a company, and the system learns from those exemplars. So as we add exemplars and particularly on the more complex topics, choose them very carefully so that the system understands it well, then more and more of that becomes automated. It's our hope that 18 months from now that we'll be touching something less than 5% of any of the content that moves through the system for a given client.
Kind of related to that, if I understand, you're getting a lot of your data from like Facebook or Twitter, which is a certain demographic. Firms like J.D. Power competitors also have field research. Is there a gap in the work, the data you deliver, since it's representative of a particular segment, and maybe not even the majority for large brands?
It's a great question. I mean, what we found is by taking the different CGM content sources, using mainstream media content, using reviews, and then partnering in some cases with areas where there's other content available, that we've been able to come back with a pretty representative set. The interesting part for us has been that many companies already have some of the other data. What they haven't had is the consumer insight, and that we're able to help them to bring those two pieces of information together. So far, the sheer mass and complexity of the conversation online is so great that understanding that and being able to use it well has been enough to offset anything from that. We haven't really seen that as an issue at this point.
Thanks.
All right, thanks.